Applause. So I think you're seeing some of the themes we mentioned come out, right? We talked about scale, which was on the teletriage. There was an example of scale. We talked about the ecosystem partnership, which obviously, we got a very nice experience of that from Ashok at Intel. I think now one of the themes we touched on was economics, right? How do we make it sustainable? So we'll really invite Jay Culver from Global Med USA to share some of the data around how to make these things sustainable. We've also lost our laptop in terms of economics, so hopefully we'll bring that back as well.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate the opportunity to come again to the Telemedicine Society of India. This is our second visit from Global Med, and on behalf of Global Med and USA, we thank you for the opportunity to present. I also want to extend my thanks to the committee with the Telemedicine Society of India, and congratulations on a very successful conference. It's even bigger than it was last year. So when we saw the title of the conference this year, we were very excited, Progressing Beyond the Pilot. We've been very excited about that because recently in the last year and a half within Global Med, we've seen several pilots go into full-fledged rollouts. And we've watched them succeed, and we've been able to garner some data and some tips and tricks on how to actually make this a sustainable and a scalable model. So just a brief overview of Global Med. We're based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. It's very similar in weather to Mumbai right now at this time of year. We're a designer and a manufacturer of telemedicine solutions. We have hardware, software, and a medical advisory board. And our engineers and everything, we do everything in the United States actually right now, but we're looking to expand that into other countries as well. And when we talk about customer-centric liaisons, we're very focused on how does it work with the customer. We don't want to tell the doctor how to run the consult. We want to let the doctor tell us and apply the technologies in that way. We have several patent-pending technologies. For those of you that have a camera that mounts to the top of your screen, that's one of our patents. And in the recent years, we've made a difference. We've been growing at an incredible rate, and we've been honored in the United States with not only the Inc. 500, the Deloitte Fast 500 within technology, but even our own governor recognized us for being innovators in the healthcare field. Our founder and CEO, Joel Barthelemy, is a finalist. He's actually right now in Palm Springs, California, for the Nationwide Entrepreneur of the Year from Ernst & Young. And then in the middle, you also see the Computer World Honors Program. Computer World came to us based on our image automation software and honored us for the image automation and the streamlining of the workflow in making an impact for healthcare. So when we talk about care, we actually took an acronym and we expanded on it. We're looking at the customer focus. We talked about the continuity of care, the access of care, responsible care, and then the equitable care. Not only equitable in terms of economics, but equitable in the fact that someone in a rural area should have the same access to a specialist that someone in a metro area should have. And the great thing about these 4 items was when we met yesterday to talk about this session, regardless of the actual term that was used, we were all in agreement as far as what these should be. So from Dr. Pramod to our final panelist who's presenting, we were all on the same page, and we were all in agreement on how this looks and what the issues were that we were seeing within the industry. So I noticed that Merck was a sponsor, and it actually worked out rather well that I had a quote from George Merck here in the presentation. Merck said, "We must never forget that medicine is for the people. We have not failed to remember that, and the profits will follow." So when we look at an economically sustainable model, of course, companies are in it to make money, but if they're not focused on the patient, those are not the companies that tend to succeed. So we've adopted that with Global Med, and we take a very consultative approach in looking at how we design and manufacture the solutions. Literally, it's where do you want to go today? What do you want to do? We actually listen to the customers. We sit down and have that consultative effort, and we give them what they need. I've got a short video here that I'm going to show in just a second where you'll hear some customer testimonials. And we came up with a scalable solution. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's not a you have to use this particular setup, but it works within the varying aspects and varying scales, varying specialties that we have in the telemedicine industry. One of our mottos within the sales team as well as our tech support department is never let the customer down. We've got 24/7 times customer. So we talk about that. Wherever we are, whenever we're available, whenever they're available, we will be there to help make sure that the solution works, because they not only have to be comfortable, but they have to be confident that when they go to use it, it's going to be there.
Camera was the fact that it was just flexible. It was ergonomically comfortable.
And I think that's been a real point of pride for our patients. They're really enthusiastic about being part of big city technology.
Very, very helpful to doctors who may be hundreds of miles away trying to make a very critical, time-sensitive decision on a patient.
It's very elegant, very easy to use, and just works very well with people who are not particularly technology savvy.
This cart was actually designed for us, and that, in my opinion, is what sets Global Media apart from other vendors, because you can go to a vendor and say, well, this is what I need, can you build it? And they're going to say, well, this is what we have, can you buy it? And we never get that from Global Media.
The help desk is always there. We test all of our equipment with the help desk to make sure that we're getting outside of the parameters of the area we serve, and we've had no issues with it whatsoever. It's easy for me to teach people how to use it. It's very intuitive, and it's a really nice, easy way to get to a homeless shelter, anywhere, clinic, whatever it may take.
We take the needs that are out there and we come back and we put our teams on it here in Scottsdale and we design an answer. And that answer, most of the time, exceeds the expectations of our customers.
That was our founder and CEO, Joel Barthelemy. But when we listen to the customer, we find out what did the customer want. This is one of the initial results. This is the United States Veterans Administration. It's the largest telemedicine network across the United States. And going from a pilot phase, we had a 2-year initial pilot with about 400 cart systems and the desktop systems that accompanied that. And now we're in the midst of the largest rollout in the United States. It's an established contract. It's a 5-year contract. The first year they've done over 1,200 carts, 6,000 of the desktop systems, and you can see that at our booth. We've partnered with Presto Info Solutions. They're our premier partner here in India. And then not only did they have the desktop systems, but I've seen a couple tablets floating around. BlackBerry's got their playbook. It went from cart to desktop system to actually software systems that were on a tablet and a laptop. So in scaling that up, we were able to get the buy-in from the clinicians. Up north, our neighbors to the north with Canada, our presence and our cameras actually cover over 2/3 of Quebec. We've partnered with some major teaching institutions that utilize that in Quebec. And then in Mexico, this is actually a map of the states, but we've gone beyond the pilot in a state of Chiapas where they're using our cameras in over 36 different clinics across 36 different cities to get that image. And one of the things that we've talked about when we look at the physician and the patient interaction, it's not a what are you losing, but really GE has a great commercial where they say, let's take a look. It's all about the image and what you can broadcast back. So we've got the mobile solutions based on what customers have given us feedback on. Then we've also got the image automation, which actually allows the documentation, annotation, and the capturing of the actual encounter. So you can capture, measure, time and date stamp, and put that into any EMR. It's a standards-based solution, so we're not exclusive to one or the other. We've worked with GE Centricity, Epic, Meditech, many of the different PACS solutions and the EMR solutions that we have available. And these are just some sample images that are on there, and you can see some more again over at the Presto booth. But then when we look at the actual way that this happens, again, we reference the tablet. So when you capture the image, it's got to be available for the specialist. So the Connie services that we have in the cloud, much of that is becoming the trend now in healthcare. It takes that image up to the cloud, and a specialist can access it from anywhere, from an iPhone to a BlackBerry to a Droid-powered tablet, Droid-powered phone, and I guess that automatically advanced. But it works incredibly well from something from an oil platform that's 400 kilometers offshore to something that's in a rural area using a 3G or an 802.11 connection. But the keys to the successful conversion were the engagement with over 9 different touch points and touch cycles within the call. We had different departments that we had to check with, not only the shipping department that this is what you're getting, but the IT department to the C-Series and the C-Suite that we would work with. Our customers told us that it helped to develop a champion within the telemedicine rollouts. A clinical champion, one of the physicians that would drive it. We've met with several physicians here, and they talk about, wow, this will meet our needs, this is what we're looking for, this is what we need to do. They also needed an administrative champion and a training champion, because again, we talk about being comfortable and confident with the solution. We started small with a scalable solution. We wanted quick successes, quick base hits, as we call it in the baseball terminology from the United States. Starting small, getting them competent and comfortable with the solution, and okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is how the workflow is going to look. And then we listened. Once you begin to roll it out, your team is really the customer now in getting their buy-in. What are their challenges and what do we need to do? And then we standardized across the equipment packages. It helped with the training and tech support. So, in conclusion, I appreciate the opportunity to present. We have a demonstration of our solutions here, but again, thank you to Vishal and the rest of the panelists.